Hello everyone, it's Arcadenaut here, and I'm here with Steelrising, a steampunk Soulslike with French Revolution. It is quite rare to see steampunk concept in games. Bioshock Infinite kinda appeared quickly in my mind, and it's even rarer to have it as like a Soulslike with aggressive gameplay mechanics, just like similar to Bloodborne's. It is developed by Spider's French developer team, also behind Gridfall, and Steelrising is their first Soulslike experience. Overall, Steelrising looks quite decent in terms of both visual and gameplay wise, and steampunk Soulslike with French Revolution also sounds interesting, I might say. Let me repeat myself once again for you though. Steampunk Soulslike with French Revolution sounds interesting but also overwhelming by some occasions. If you grabbed your baguette, then let's get to it. It's year 1789 and Paris is in flames. Blood, gore and revolution is everywhere, and this time it's not just French that are fighting for their nation, but steampunkish robots of Louis XVI are going on rampage, slaughtering men, women and children alike. We, as the only female automat of Queen Marie Antoinette, going on a journey to stop this rampage, find the location of creator of these automats, and then stop the Mad King Louis XVI. And during our journey, we meet with historically accurate key people of French Revolution like General Lafayette, who also took place in American Independence War, plays an important role in Steelrising, and honestly, he was the only key figure I cared about. The rest of the key figures were just too much historical information that was forced on me during the cutscenes that felt quite overwhelming after a while, but spitting French names and expecting me to remember all of those is a different thing. Right, so from Queen Marie Antoinette's Castle of Saint Cloud to even Paris streets, Notre Dame, we fight against these steampunk automats, and Spiders did a really good job of designing that frightening atmosphere of a bloody revolution. If you played Assassin's Creed Unity and enjoyed that atmosphere, Steelrising will offer you a much darker and sometimes even more accurate depiction of French Revolution. And the bloody, muddy and gloomy atmosphere of Paris is constructed with deep and layered level design that is influenced after popular Souls-like titles. There are lots of shortcuts that needs to be found, passive abilities that lets you to reach new areas by using them, kinda like that. I might sound kinda merciful since it's Spider's second big title after Gridfall and their first Souls-like title, but from here on out, I'll get serious. On guard. Just by the beginning, we can choose a class for our dear automat, and without taking any risks, I went for Dancer class, namely agility based one, and hoping that it will at least turn into a dexterity build of Dark Souls at some point. Dancer began with low damage with high attack speed fans and felt quite easy to use, to be frank, and by making some discoveries here and there, and even by the first map, I found lots of new weapons, so Steelrising let me customize my dear Dancer however I wanted to. I picked my fans and equipped a mullet with frost bullets to freeze other robots, and everything went like a breeze. To be completely honest, I think I died like 6 or 7 times within my complete run. Either I'm already a Souls-like slut, or Steelrising isn't that challenging, I would say. Steelrising focuses on an aggressive gameplay style that is similar to Code Vein, Neo series and of course Bloodborne. There are no shields to carry around nor any equip loads. You sidestep and dodge your way from the automat attacks, projectiles of fire, electric and frost element, the usual stuff. It is not that hard to dodge around, especially through using the iframe and jumping mechanic also. So it's not just the usual Souls-like dodging mechanics, but also jumping around, creating a gap between your enemies also. It won't take a lot of time to get used to it. However, through attacks and dodges, our stamina gauge depletes, and with depleted stamina we discover a quite unique gameplay mechanic that I really found interesting. So our main character Lydia is an automat, and by overusing her own movements, her own core gets heated and it needs to cool down before she can act again. Either dodge or attack, it doesn't matter. If the players can hit the cooldown button quickly when it's available, Lydia receives a frost status penalty, but her stamina renews from that level. If players abuse this mechanic, Lydia can get frozen for a couple of seconds, leaving her wide open for any attacks. It is worth the risk in my opinion, since by spamming the buttons during the frozen state, Lydia can get rid of it quite easily and you can continue your attacks or dodges however you want to. There are also modules that you can install to Lydia, granting her new passive abilities like increasing your frost resistance, increasing the amount of experience points that you can receive and stuff. And you can also cover your weak points with these modules, or at least through using resistance potions or other items. But But to be completely honest again, I never ever use these side items but only use my Estus Flask like oil potions and Dark Souls 2 Life Gem like consumable healing potions throughout the game and never ever used these grenades. I never needed these items, I didn't find Steelrising that challenging, and these items might even lower the difficulty even more, but yeah, these stuff are available for use.
Et cum haec dixis et videntibus illis elevatus est.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up.
Hallelujah! Purgatory is not the end.
In Steelrising there are around 20 different weapons and Ludia can equip 2 of them at the same time, able to change between them in combat, and each of these weapons have like a special move from attack, defense to elemental damage kinda type. Mostly I use dual wield sabers as my main weapon throughout the game, and by making it level 5 I destroy lots of bosses and even the last boss without breaking a sweat. I would also recommend you to equip an elemental weapon like a mullet or a lance, chain type weapon to inflict elemental status to enemies, especially either fire or frost damage to make things even easier for you. Fans can also play the role of being shield if you want to, though I never use these within my run. Although there are a variety of weapons, special moves and modules to experiment with, I never had the curiosity to change my build and make things harder for me. There are tons of automats that might pursue, attack and ambush you within the streets of Paris, so just use the weapon that you most feel comfortable with. The main bosses that are called Titans have baroque designs resembling the art and style of that era, were quite unique and interesting, but I can't say the same when it comes to the actual boss fight or the challenge that they brought. As I mentioned before, I defeated nearly all of the bosses without dying and on my first try, so I would call them unique and interesting, but not remarkable to be precise. Steelrising is interesting and a different kind of Souls-like that I've never seen before in terms of concept, atmosphere and art design, but when it comes to actual challenge, gameplay mechanics and overall satisfaction, it kinda falls short. As it falls short, I could only recommend it for people who are open to any kinds of Souls-like games, from indie to even AAA titles like Code Vein, Neo and maybe even The Surge. Or if you are really interested in the concept and atmosphere of Steelrising, covered in blood and mud as the French Revolution happens. It can be found on Steam, Xbox and PlayStation Store for $50 US, though I think it might be best to give it a chance when it's on sale for the people who are not sure if they want to give it a try or not.